Central Illinois' best source for news and weather. WAND News at noon starts now.
Coming up on WAND News at noon, a mother appears in court. The formal charges she faces after the death of her 2-year-old daughter. And Empire actor Jussie Smollett is behind bars. The investigation into the case and how the victim became the suspect. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on WAND News at noon. I'm Joe Ostrowski, filling in for Meredith Juliet. Meteorologist Bob Try, he joins me now. And Bob, a lovely morning so far.
Yeah, Joe, it really is. You know, you really can't complain for this time of year. We're seeing some high clouds out there, kind of filtering the sunshine. Temperatures are above freezing, so heading into the afternoon, looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look outside right now, our live rooter cam, and you can see that milky overcast, those high cirrus clouds. We do have the sun poking through, however, and temperatures are slowly warming. 38 in Decatur, 36 in Taylorville. You can see everybody is above freezing, even Watsika at 33. Springfield 37, and some lower 40 stretching from Vandalia all the way up into the Paris area. Current winds not too bad out of the northwest at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. We've got some high pressure in the neighborhood, so we'll be seeing those light and variable winds through time. So here's your hour-by-hour forecast. Those high clouds, filtered sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures around 41 by 1, about 43 by 4. That'll be the high, and then back to 39 at 6. Looks like we have a quiet Friday on the way, but getting very active into the weekend with thunderstorms. I'll let you know if we have a potential for severe weather coming up. Joe?
Thanks, Bob. New at noon, the mother of a 2-year-old found unresponsive in Decatur has been arraigned in her daughter's death. Twanka Davis appeared in court this morning. Davis is formally charged with first-degree murder and endangering the life and health of a child. This comes after police found Davis's daughter, Tanaja Barnes, unresponsive last week. The toddler was reportedly filthy and had a body temperature too low to measure. Davis's other child was taken into child protective custody. Lawyers for accused kidnapper Brent Christensen are again asking a judge to push back his trial. Last week, a judge denied a delay request, but now Christensen's attorneys say they found a new psychiatrist and they won't be ready until July 1st. If the new start date is approved, it would be 2 years and a day after Christensen was arrested. Christensen is accused of kidnapping and killing University of Illinois scholar Ying Zhang. And we're learning new details about an officer-involved fight turned shooting in Decatur. During a court hearing yesterday, officials said Thomas Gill twice grabbed an officer's gun during a fight after a traffic stop. At some point, the gun went off, hitting another officer. The officer's ballistic vest stopped the bullet. Investigators still aren't sure who fired the gun. Right now, Gill is charged with trying to disarm a peace officer and resisting arrest. And we now know the weapon used in a deadly stabbing on New Year's Day in Decatur. During a coroner's inquest yesterday, investigators said Billy Joe Soyster stabbed David Murray to death with a piece of glass from a mirror. Police reports say it happened after an argument got physical. Soyster is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Meanwhile, at the state capitol, Governor J.B. Pritzker says he's starting work on what he calls a fair income tax. Under the proposal, state income tax will be progressive, meaning wealthier people will be taxed at a higher rate. He says it's the best way to fix the state's finances.
Fair tax is what 3/4 of states with income taxes have. We can accomplish this in Illinois with a more competitive rate structure than Wisconsin and Iowa, both of which are outpacing Illinois in job creation and economic growth.
Says those negotiations could take up to 18 months for that new tax system. Many lawmakers shared their thoughts on the proposal. Democratic lawmakers generally approve, but they want to look over the numbers. Republican lawmakers say we should stick with the current system.
And there's sort of this illusory, hope out there. There's somehow you can only tax, quote unquote, the rich. Well, when you actually, peel back those layers and you find out that most people live in Decatur, Illinois, so their taxes are going up too, even though none of them would say that they are, quote unquote, the rich.
The governor also proposed several other ways for the state to generate more money. One would be a 5-cent tax on plastic shopping bags. He says that could generate $13 million in revenue in just 1 year. The governor also suggested taxing tobacco products more. He suggested a 36% tax on e-cigarettes. The tax could bring in $10 million. Another proposal would raise the tax on a pack of cigarettes. Early voting for the April 2nd elections starts today in Illinois. Counties across the state are gearing up for early voting. Local county clerks are geared up already, and early voting will begin at those county clerks' offices. In Danville, officials are looking to find solutions to violence. City leaders say they've been monitoring specific groups responsible for violence for more than 14 years. But Public Safety Director Larry Thomason says they are not calling those groups gangs.
Groups is what they are. They're not, they still do not have a real hierarchy. They do not have some kind of formal thought that they're going for.
Thomason says you can help stop violence by calling in crimes when you see them. And the Danville Police Department is accepting applications for more officers. They want to create special units on the force. Right now, there are 60 officers in the police department. They hope to add at least 4 more. Firefighters are asking for you to check your smoke detectors. The Clinton Fire Department did that in person last night. It was part of the Be Alarmed smoke detector program put on by the State Fire Marshal and the Illinois State Fire Safety Alliance. Firefighters checked on homes and offered new smoke detectors free to anybody who needed one.
It's real important that the people know that they're out here and they're caring about us.
Firefighters say they've installed smoke detectors in 25 homes just this past week. And a reminder, it is state law to install 10-year smoke alarms in your home. Those alarms replace older battery-operated models. You can find them in most stores and online. Mattoon's fire chief is retiring. Tony Nichols spent 24 years with the department. He told the city council the job isn't as enjoyable as it once was. He added the council's decision to eliminate the ambulance service moved up his retirement date. He's already accepted a job with the Illinois State Fire Marshal's office. And the Children's Museum of Illinois says it's preparing for a busy season. Leaders say they've seen more visitors since they opened their Heroes Hall last fall. The staff is also marketing visits to both the museum and Scoville Zoo. They say that'll be easier once the train connecting the two is open.
We want them to come over, enjoy us, walk through the sculpture park, see everything there is to offer, go to the zoo, and just really have a full day experience. I mean, between the two of us, you can't do all of that in one day.
Staff say they're already working to coordinate events with the zoo. And Bob, it's a nice day to spend out there in the sculpture park, or
I would think so.
Anywhere else that's open.
Yeah, I mean, you want to bundle up a little bit. We have temperatures in the 30s and 40s, but the winds are light. The sun's out a little bit, so, you layer up a little bit and enjoy the animals. And looks like our weather will change as we move into the weekend, so I'll talk about that coming up. In the meantime, today's lows, well, they were chilly. Average low 25, and we were above that for all of our cities, 29 in Decatur and Mattoon, 30 for your low in Shelbyville, 28 in Vandalia, 30 in Carlinville, and your low in Jacksonville was 29. In JC's 3-degree guarantee for today, he's going with a forecast high of 41 degrees. Coming up, I'll talk about a quiet day today and tomorrow, but it gets very active heading into the weekend. I'll break it down coming up after the break.